What's up, good people? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we about to do. We're about to start that conversation. We about to talk about life, love, happiness, parenting, relationships, sex, you name it. We gonna talk about it. But in the meantime, in the between time, it is Wind Down Wednesday. And y'all know who I am. I am the one and only retired. Hold on, let me say that one more time.
Louder.
Retired. Sandy Tucker coming to you live and in person on Wind Down Wednesday. So if you ain't doing nothing, tell all the deacons, missionaries, saints, and friends that we are on tonight, and we are ready to talk about it. So in the meantime, between time, how you doing, sis? And how is your week?
Oh man, it was great. Hey Kelly, thanks for tuning in. My week has been great. Your flashbacks have been very entertaining to say the least. My week's been great. I can't complain. It wouldn't make a difference either anyhow. So but yeah, my week is great. Fam is good. Ain't nobody been sick. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, can't complain. Hey, Keisha, thanks
What's
for
up,
tuning
Keisha and Kelly? What's going on?
in. I'm in the car. I'm on location. I'm about to be in a settled place here in a second, but yeah.
We're not gonna call it a complaint. We're gonna call it just releasing the negativity and expressing the positivity. That's what we're gonna talk about. Thank you so very much, Kelly. Thank you so very much. It's a long time coming, and your girl is happy. Extremely.
Yes. So how was your week?
Well, my week was good. It was good. Started out kind of gloom and dim and everything, but for the most part, it's good. We had to go up to Toledo where Courtney's step grandma, her granny, she don't like saying step, she likes saying her granny because that was her granny. Her granny passed away, so we had to go run to Toledo real quick and come back. So other than that, life is good. Everything is good. God is good. I'm excited about the next move in my life, but I'm just right now sitting back, relaxing. What do you do when you're retired?
What you want, whatever you want.
And you keep that smile on your face. The smile on your face. So that's what I'm doing. I'm happy. I'm really just relaxing and trying to take a deep breath and enjoying life, and being thankful to God for the many blessings that He's bestowed upon me and my family. But other than that, my week has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. So for all you people that's listening, please tell them, because now we are getting ready to talk about it. For those that, we got a couple of subjects we want to hit on, but first we want to talk about the issue that took place in Houston with the concert where you had 50,000, let me say that again, 50,000 people at a concert. That's larger than some cities and states, in some countries. That's
Right.
more people in some countries than it is, in one city where people have gone to it. I have no idea who the man was in the first place. Don't know the songs he sing. I really don't care to know who he is, and I don't care to know the songs that he sings. But from my understanding, he promotes and provokes a lot of the I don't know, out of control concerts that he's had in the past. I don't know, because I've never seen any of them. But to have 50,000 people and there are no assigned seats in the place where he was at, and there were no seating up front, and people are just standing all in the way, and then whatever happened, they got trampled on. But my question is parenting, because now you have a father that took his 10-year-old son to a concert who's now dead and gone.
11. He was 11.
Okay, 10, 11, 9, 8, whatever.
He was a kid. He was a minor.
And the parent took him to the concert. Right. And now he's dead and gone over what? would you allow your child? No, let me not say would you allow. Would you let your child or take your child? Well, allowing and letting is pretty much the same. Will you take your
Well,
child to a concert of such nature, whomever he is, without seating? You don't know what may happen, but would you take a 10-year-old to that 11-year-old to that kind of concert?
right. There has to be some type of not just adult supervision, but some accountability, some adult accountability. Because we know we don't been to concerts as adults before, so we know that depending on who you're going to see, it can get pretty wild. If you're going to see an artist that's pretty chill, like Sade or Charlie Wilson, you know that everybody's gonna go to the concert, they're gonna enjoy themselves, and nobody's gonna go home with the
Right.
same story with someone that's passed away. Um, Keisha said, to be fair, there's no seating in Coachella. On an even bigger concert, however, with his music, never would I take a child to that type of concert.
And my thing is the difference between Coachella and his concert. They're not getting up there at Coachella, I do not believe, jumping up and down, pouncing and promoting badness. From what I understand, and I don't know because I've never seen his concert. I don't even, like I said, I don't know what the man sings. But
Right.
Coachella does not promote that type of I guess, I don't know, environment. Let me say that. It's a totally different type of environment of people that go to Coachella. And it is huge. And I even look at the Beyonce concert. She doesn't promote that kind of concerts either.
Right.
And they are much bigger than the one he had.
Right. They're on a much grander scale.
Much grander scale. So it's about the artist and what they're promoting.
Exactly. And my thing is, you should kind of know what you're getting or what you're getting yourself into, depending on who it is that you're going to see. As I stated, you know what a Sade or Charlie Wilson, you're going to get, a nice concert. Everybody's going to have a good time. Everybody's going to go home. It's going to be a calmer type of environment.
Correct. When we go to look at the jazz festival here in Cincinnati,
yep,
it doesn't promote that type of environment.
Correct.
It's on a different scale. So, as a parent, how much homework would you do?
Well,
before you go to the concert.
Right, and homework should be done, but we're just living in a different time right now. We're living in a time where I don't care really what concert you got to. You have to prepare your mind for if something happens here. You know what I mean? That's out of my control. What is going to be my exit strategy? And that's where everyone's going. Whether it's you going to Walmart, to Target, or you going to ride to the park, if something happens there, like you just have to have a mind or a thought process of, how will I be able to get out of this place safely?
Which is every time I go somewhere, I was listening to them on one of them shows on TV, and I was listening to them, and they were saying how they sit, they go and they get their tickets close to the exit. So if anything happens, they can exit out quickly. What's going on, Tanya?
Thanks for tuning in.
So that's my thing. I can't recall even letting Courtney go to any concerts of such nature at 10 or 11 years old.
Right.
So how do you control that, or can you control that at all? Because he took his child to that concert.
Right, and he's living
not a big deal.
Right, and he's living to tell about it, and so it makes me just think about what really happened. You know what I mean? That because I'm the type of person, and I'm sure it's plenty of parents. We got listeners globally. We thank you guys for tuning in, but I don't know. It's plenty of parents out there that have been like, "Hey, I would have went down before I allowed my child to." You know what I mean? So it just makes you wonder, like, what really happened.
But
was the child close to him? Was the child in front of him? On the side of him? That type of thing.
Well, you have to think about it. This is me. I'm saying this is just me. I'm no expert or nothing like that. But my thing is this: is that when you have people, that many people in a place, and all of a sudden something happens, and they start trampling all over the place. They start just running all. How can you hold on to somebody or to that person's hand, even if there was an adult? How can you hold on to their hand if you got 1,000 folks running all out the door at the same time? Is that possible? And when you have a kid is much smaller than an adult and can be easily trampled unless you have them and you holding them, you got them and they holding on to you and you carrying them out. How can you control a stampede of people that's running past you and you got a 10-year-old trying to hold on to?
Yes, really something. Keisha said the age of parents are closer to their kids now. Such an important fact. That is so true. Because a lot of times the mentality, even though they have a kid, is not there. It's not up to par. You have parents who club with their children, so they are more than friends than parents. And so the question that you had asked, people aren't really thinking about that. They aren't thinking now like, is this a concert where it's a possibility that my kid can get trampled or I can get trampled? You know what I mean? Like grown people get trampled too. There's no gateway or no filter like, oh, you too old, you can't get trampled. You know, what type of concert am I going to? Like if I'm going to a Lil Wayne concert, I can 9 times out of 10 in my mind think like it's a possibility that some people can get trampled.
All day, every day. I'm not going to no Lil Wayne concert. First of all, Lil Ugly. I'm not going to Lil Ugly's concert. That just ain't gonna happen. But I get it. I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, now that parent is definitely responsible and feeling bad. But I'm gonna tell you what I would do as a parent or somebody that lost their life or not maybe lost their life, but got hurt or injured, especially out there in Houston, Texas. For one, that city and state is open. They don't have no boundaries at all with anything. You know, they're not limiting the people that can come and go. The people don't have to meet mask on or anything like that. So I would sue the governor. I would definitely be filing suit against the governor of Texas because he has no boundaries on anything out there. He has opened the entire state to whatever they want to do and how they want to do it. Now, he would be my first piece. He would be the first one other than the person that was hosting the concert because we already know he's going to get sued. There's no way paying for someone's funeral or their medical expenses is going to cover and bring somebody back from dying or major injuries. So everybody and their mama, including the place where they had the concert at, will be in my lawsuit.
So why is it that you would sue the mayor when just because everything is open? Because here's the thing, the parents still made a decision that this is where we're going to go. I mean, no one signs up, whether you're a kid or adult or whatever, no one signs up in their right mind to be killed. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to concert, I'm gonna be killed. Like I'm gonna be stampeded on, I'm gonna be trampled. Like no one signs up for that, but that's a chance that you take. Like now do they have to print out tickets that say it's a possibility that, you know, trampling may happen, we're not responsible? Like, you know, it's like they're trying to find someone they can put the blame on. But the blame really goes on the parent because it's a decision they made because of the type of artist that this person is and the type of music that's being played, where it's to a point where, you know, this situation happened. My thing is too, even during a concert, not all the time the people on the stage know what's going on in that large group of people. You know what I mean? So it's just like, who do you blame? You really do. You know, the parent does have to take some type of accountability. I'm not saying the whole thing is his fault, but it's just like, it's really sad. And then to blame the artist and say, it's your fault. You knew you was on stage performing, but you knew that, you know, it was a stampede, or you knew that all these people was running and you just kept on going. Like, how can we say that?
But to be on stage, I'm going to say this about the governor of the Houston, of Texas, period. as we know, the governor here in Ohio has boundaries. There are still limitations because of the COVID vaccine and the vaccination. That exactly. There are still limitations where you can't have a certain amount of people in a place right now because he's still going by some of the CDC guidelines. Houston, Texas is not going by any guidelines. This man don't care about anybody's safety. He's only concerned about money, that's bringing the revenue to Texas. So Texas is, look at the abortion rule, and all of that craziness that's going on with that. So he's a part of it. If there is some type of limitation, I'm not saying you can't get trampled with 25,000 people, because you can't. It just depends on the stampede and what it's all about, what caused this. But when you got an individual like the governor who's all about the entertainment and the money, and when you got an entertainer that is, I don't know, like I said, I don't know him, but I just heard them talking about it on TV on one of those shows, who is pretty much promoting a different type of atmosphere during the concert. It's gonna cause some issues and some problems, and which it always does. But thank God that I've never been at a concert. It should have been seating. I would say it should have been seating. I was talking about the jazz festival with somebody. You look at the jazz festival, there's seats down there, but people still want to stand up and go to the front, but then they go back to their seat. There were no seats down there, no seats, none whatsoever. And all of a sudden, the stampedes coming from everywhere. I mean, they just, for whatever reason, somebody passed out. There were some complications right there in front of the stage. He stopped for 5 minutes and continued on the concert. Should he have stopped the concert and rendered aid or waited? I feel he should have, because that's what Cat Williams did. Cat Williams stopped his concert and said, "Hold up, wait. We're not about to have this over here, honey, what they had in Texas. We're going to wait till they come, and we're going to let them see about these people before I carry on." That's what he probably should have done. So,
I mean, I'm with Keisha. Keisha said they're not required to go by those guidelines, so I don't think he should be blamed. I agree with you. I said blame concert security, yes. Blame those out in the places to secure and the safety of the attending, because anytime you have a large crowd in a huge volume like that, is liability. And so therefore security should have been beefed up to the max. Every row, every aisle, there should have been someone. That's how you can, that's how you gain some crowd control. I mean, there's somebody to show you to your seat. Yeah, there was no seats, but somebody to show you to the area where I'm saying, that you paid for, you were supposed to be in. That is a huge liability.
Control seating, though, makes a difference. Control seating makes a difference anywhere. If there are seats for people to sit in and they're supposed to be there, control seating will take care of a lot of that stuff. And y'all know me, I'm going against the grain. I don't agree with Keisha, because I am going to blame everybody involved. Do I think, because at the Jazz Festival, I think we may have we got a lot of people at the Jazz Festival. There are a lot of people that come to the Jazz Festival on all 3 nights, but you can never have enough security for that many people. I don't feel. You got 50,000 people, you would not have enough security that could handle that. That's why you need to have some type of control seating. People need to be in chairs, seats with their booties, and it need to be some space between the stage and the artist. And it did not appear that any of that took place. And I think they do the same thing down at Coney Island. They don't have no seating at Coney Island. But
it's the same. It's the same at Coney Island, and it's the same at Bogarts. It's standing room only, and so therefore, you're coming at your own risk. You're coming to be entertained at your own risk. There's a possibility that something may happen, that the crowd might get hyped, and people get a little bit carried away. But this is another thing that I heard, that there were people in the audiences that had needles and were injecting people with drugs. I heard about that. And then there was a police officer that was injecting his neck with something. So it just was a lot of elements happening at one time in that area with such a large volume of people. It was hard for them to police everything. My thing is too, like, was there metal detectors coming in? Were they getting wanded coming in? You know, how are people able to come in with syringes filled with drugs and they sticking and poking people? How is that possible?
2 words: security guard. And it makes a difference. And the question is, you know, even when you have pills, metal detectors don't pick up pills. You can have stuff in your socks. They're not searching your socks, and, you know, they're just looking for weapons. They're not searching for particularly drugs. But once again, if there was stipulations, and they do, if I'm not mistaken, they are supposed to go by those CDC guidelines, but let's just be honest, they don't. They are set in place, and they were set in place by Biden, because you look at a lot of people are just not following them, because we're still wearing masks in Ohio. I mean, so why Texas ain't wearing them? You know, we're still, are they mandated? They're recommended and required. The limit to, we can't even open our church fully because we're following the CDC guidelines, which is what the state of Ohio is doing. But he chose not to do that in Texas.
I just can't. I'm gonna agree to disagree with you. I'm with Keisha. I just don't feel that that's where the blame needs to go, because regardless on if people, you know, had their mask on or whatever, like, there's always gonna be somehow that the structure, you know, the structure is going to change. Security should have been beefed up there. Police should have been there, especially with such a large volume of people. I'm not understanding again how syringes filled with drugs or was able to even enter into the presence where people are getting stuck by needles, you know, throughout this concert, because there's so many people, so many distractions happening. Nobody's paying attention. How were they even able to get that type of thing in? Okay, Robert said, if a store has a sale and I get caught in a stampede like they have at Walmart, can I sue? Michael Jackson, Farm Aid, and others have had open concerts with no death or people have passed out from heat and excitement. But once a stampede starts, how many security people do you need to stop it? Who's negligent? Exactly. It's because it's a liability. And you're right, Robert. There's been instances at Walmart with folks, especially around Black Friday,
Yep.
where folks are in there fighting over TVs, they fighting over stuff, and the little Walmart workers that's there, they're not gonna be able to control all of these people when this breaks out, because this is the last TV, or this is the last Christmas toy. When that fight ensues and all these people are involved, now it's out of control. You can't control it. There's no containment because there was nothing set in place from jump, knowing that they had a large volume of people, and that's the.
And you said nothing was set in place. And it's just, that is the problem right there. And that's why I was sued. Now, we may not know everybody that sues Target or Walmart or Myers or something. We probably don't have a clue, but I can guarantee you there were a lot of establishments that got sued because of the stampede, and somebody got hurt because they felt the need that they didn't do enough to protect them or to keep them from, you know, bombarding the doors coming in, you know, causing the mayhem at Walmart and Target. I can almost guarantee you that there were lawsuits, but we just don't know all about them. And there's a different, once again, we are looking at a different type of person who is giving the concert. Michael Jackson did not give those kinds of concerts where people were just all wilding out, and, you know, he wasn't promoting or enticing any kind of violence or jump up and bang your head kind of music. You have to look at the person that is giving the concert. And once again, when I was watching TV, this man, Trey, whoever his name is, Trey Scott, that's the concerts that he gives. He promotes a lot of unnecessariness throughout his concert. So Is he responsible? Yes. I do say, Keisha, what you said, masks are recommended, not required. But then there's a lot of places, once again, in Ohio. I just went to the eye doctor the other day, forgot my mask. What did they say? Ma'am, we can't see you without a mask. So guess what? We are following the CDC guidelines still here in Cincinnati, state of Ohio. So the question is, if we're following the CDC guidelines, why isn't Houston following them too? Answer me that, Miss Keisha. Thank you.
I just feel like regardless of whether the guidelines are in place, that people are gonna do what they gotta do. With a concert like this on this scale, Travis Scott, the type of artist that he is, at this point, I feel like it just really wouldn't have mattered. At this point, I just feel like they're trying to find a way to place blame on someone that needs to be responsible, has to be responsible for what has happened.
Everybody.
And so it's a huge liability on a lot of parties that are involved. Because even before the concert, like, what is the layout? What is the process? You know, like, hey, what happens if, you know, all these different scenarios should have been went through, especially knowing the scale of artists that Travis Scott is. Now, it hasn't came out that they went through all of these limbs. We don't know. We may find out that they did or they didn't. We don't know. But I just think that a lot of instances like this can definitely be prevented. And then to take a child in that type of element, it's like, unfortunately, what do you expect?
Exactly.
If it was a 10-year, 11-year-old at a Lil Wayne concert, you could best believe people was gonna be rolling up joints. You know, I mean, prime example, Erykah Badu here in Cincinnati, Ohio, at Jazz Festival. When I tell you, when she got one, and it's been some years now. When I tell you, people was rolling their weed up, lighting it up, firing it up all throughout the stadium. It was going down because that's the music. It puts you in that flow. Like, people don't understand how powerful music is, and that's the thing. Like, music controls a lot of your environment and how you're feeling, your emotions, which is why music is so strong. You know, it affects us all in different ways, but there is an effect. And so with her, for example, the Erykah Badu situation, that's where you go. That's where folks' mind go, you know, when they listening to her music. And so the same with Travis Scott or with a Lil Wayne, you gonna be turned up. They talking about cough syrup, and you know what I mean. They talking about drug use. They talking about these things, and so that's where you are. That's what it pushes you. And so when you get these tickets and you taking your kids, you need to be in that mindset. There may be a possibility that there could be a stampede and somebody can get trampled at this concert because of that type of element it is.
Or who to come? You said it because you said, I mean, look at Snoop Dogg. Ain't no 10-year-old going to no Snoop Dogg concert. You know, ain't no 10-year-old going to Erykah Badu concert. I mean, there may be a 10-year-old to go to Lil Wayne, maybe, but he ain't came out with nothing lately. So that may not happen. But at the end of the day, you have to know the artist, the person, and your environment, your surroundings. Like you said, look at the layout and the beat goes on. So Keisha, you said, if mayor or governor says no concerts, no ball games, no events, because there's a possibility of injury, hurt, theft, anything, people would be upset. They've been upset for 2 years now since COVID. At some point, we have to own our own responsibilities in any occasions. You're absolutely correct. We have to, but also there needs to be some stipulations as well. Now we know is there going to be a stampede at a baseball game? Possibly. Could possibly be one, but it would only be because shots fired or something. It ain't gonna be because somebody's smoking weed and the baseball player out there on the field clowning and carrying on. It ain't gonna be because of that. It's gonna be because of some other foolishness that took place at the game. Period.
That's a fact. I mean, it's just like the example of all those kids fighting in Kings Island, where, you know, it wasn't enough security, it wasn't enough people to, you know, really get control of the crowd. And so once it started, it was just too out of control. And so it got to a point where they just had to shut everything down. And, that was something that didn't happen. They didn't shut everything down. It happened, the concert went on, and then there's the aftermath. So I just feel like we have to take, like she said, we have to take accountability as parents on what we're allowing our kids to be involved in, and the chances of and the possibilities of something negative happening. Because negative can happen at any given time. Something bad can happen from the time you get off of work and get in your car, from that little super small time, like anything. You just never know, but you always have to be in your mind. You always have to be in that place where you're on the lookout of, okay, if something happens here, do I got a way out, or can I get out? Or, you got to play these scenarios through your head, because it's reality.
All day. It's reality all day. But at some point, everybody has to take blame. It's the way I feel about this concert. Everybody has to take some kind of accountability for what took place, because something there was an oversight somewhere with somebody. Who knows who it started with, but there's an oversight somewhere with somebody. And the question is, where did it start? And we know where it ended. It ended with death and injury. So somebody gonna take responsibility. Now I'm almost positive that the parent that took the child to the concert, ain't nothing gonna happen to him. Everybody got sympathy for him because his child is dead, but he's gonna feel guilty already for taking his child to that concert. I can guarantee you he won't take another one if he has any more. He probably won't request or recommend he take another one. He probably won't volunteer to take another kid to another concert. So anything could happen. Absolutely true at any given time, anywhere. But the question is, who's responsible and who's going to take responsibility of something that went wrong? My recommendation, sue them all. Sue your last one of them.
So we you ready to give it to everybody. I mean, it's just like it's the same example for me as the what is it, Alec Baldwin situation with the gun being loaded, where people were supposed to check, and like they trying to find, you know what I mean, they were trying to figure out who they could place this blame on for the loss of this life. And it's like the checks and balances, who was supposed to check what? Who was supposed to check the weapon? Who was supposed to empty the weapon, make sure it wasn't blanks? Like, that's the person that's responsible in this situation. I feel like the parent, he already got a life sentence because he no longer has his child. And now he has to continue to play back the last moments of him with his child. Was supposed to be at a concert having fun, but instead it ended up in his child being dead. And so that's a life sentence already to begin with. So, Robert, sue everybody, see what you get. I mean, I don't agree with that. Good luck with it, though. Good luck. I mean, it's worth the try. It's worth the try. Somebody has to be accountable. Somebody has to be held accountable. But it's just like the other listener was saying, the adult has to, the parent has to take some responsibility as well. There's no warning that you're given when you go to a concert, like, oh, something about to go down. There's never a warning sign. You just have to be adult enough, mature enough in thinking in your maturity that, hey, anywhere I am, it's a possibility something negative can happen.
I'm still suing everybody. The parent is already feeling guilty. Are they responsible for the actions that? No, they're not. They're not responsible for the actions that took place. So what responsibility or how responsible should they feel about what, should fall on their shoulders as to what happened? Because they had no clue. Once again, they're only responsible for making sure, to the best of their ability, that child stays safe with them. And unfortunately, that stampede caused him not to have a good grasp or whatever on that child, because he was pummeled too. Now, was the father injured? That still hasn't come out yet. I don't know. I ain't even seen the man, but was he injured in the stampede or what? I don't know, but I'm suing everybody. I'm sorry. And the parent is already guilty. Feeling guilty because he even went. So his responsibility is I don't feel like it's on him, because it's on the people that gave the concert. They should have looked over the concert, didn't have enough personnel there. It's on everybody else. I'm going to say it's on everybody else but the parent.
Keisha, I agree with you. She said sometimes there's no fault. It's a tragedy a learning experience for many, unfortunately, it ended in someone's death, does not always mean fault. And that's true, but that's the first thing that people go to is we need to find who fault. We need somebody to take responsibility. We need somebody to go down for this life that was lost. Just like the people who were at a concert or they were on a balcony or somewhere and it just all just came in and collapsed. Robert said that's what's going on in society. I don't agree with it, but that's what is going on today. Nobody's taking responsibility for the actions. Exactly. Everyone wants to put something off on someone else instead of owning their part in it as well. Yeah, woulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda. What could have been done? More security. How many more? More police. How many more gates? How many this? How many that? During the Who concert, still lost many. That's for sure. That's for sure. Sometimes you try to be super safe and you still not safe enough. You know, it's just that's how life is. It's very unpredictable. You know, we got to try to brainstorm and think ahead, but not all the time is that the case.
And it's not. But once again, I'm still gonna blame everybody. I'm suing everybody. But you know, it was a sad situation, and it's, you know, unfortunately it happened. And you know, the control it'll come out in the long run. You know, as far as who's who and what's what. We praying for those that lost their lives and those that are injured in that concert. You know, praying for their families to get through. But I'm still suing everybody. But on that note, we gonna move right along.
My partner saw everybody, top to bottom. Everybody, your mama, your cousin, your uncle, your friend that thought they was gonna go that didn't go. She's suing everybody. The whole state of Texas. Y'all get sued.
Getting sued.
Oh, good night, Keisha. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, I am. Now let's talk about something else. You know, it's enough of talking about the sad news, the sad stuff that's going on with people and the deaths and the injuries and all that. We get that every day. We hear it and see it every day. Now, my next question for y'all, what's love got to do with anything? This is what I want to know. What's love got to do with it? What is your definition of love? How do you explain love? I mean, you know, the Bible tells us what we need to do when it comes to love, but everybody don't follow the Bible. Let's just keep it 100. So, what is your definition of love, and how do you explain it? Keisha said nothing. Well, I'll be doggone.
Love is love is action, period. I mean, that's just what it is. People show you love through their actions. And it's not a simplistic thing because people, you know, folks make it all heart shapes and bubble gum and it's so lovey-dovey. Like, love is pain and it's sacrifice. And so it's action. That's action.
I agree.
How about for you?
Well, at the end of the day, it is about showing someone that you love them. There are many ways to show somebody that you love them. Many, many, many ways. And it's not always, and I was talking to somebody earlier today, and it's not always by having sex, you know, slobbering all on somebody, feeling on somebody, doing that. Because, you know, we were talking about earlier, when I was talking to this person earlier, the older you get, your stamina for having sexual intimacy decreases for a lot of people. So if you love somebody, how do you show them love in other ways than just sex? We can say it. You know, we often tell people all the time, hey, I love you, you know, don't get off the phone. Love y'all, you know, love you, brother, you know, love you, you know, love you, y'all, be easy. So I agree with you. It's an action, but sometimes people don't know how to express that action piece. Keisha said, period. Love is an action. I like that. She said, damn pain and sacrifice. Nice. It's a lot of that too. That's going to always be. There's always going to be some pain and sacrifices that we're going to make. It's going to happen. Did nobody say love was going to be easy? Here you go. High five every time I see you. That's right. That's right, Robert. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody's going to say that they're going to go through life and love somebody and not have pain, not have disappointment, not have hurt. And that's crazy if you say that. But the older you get, how do you express your, if love is an action word, and the older you get, how do you express yourself other than having sex? There's other ways. Come on, people. I need to hear what you got, sis. What you got?
I told you. I summed it all up for you real quick. Love is action, and so love is pain. Like, it does not always feel good. And we talk about a lot of people not knowing God or having that relationship, but on this show, that's what we talk about, Jesus, and he was the ultimate example of what love is. It's not the hearts and the gumdrops and the "ooh, you made me feel so good." Like, there's expressions for that. I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I feel lonely, or I feel joyful. Those are expressions. Love is in action. It's in what is seen. It's in the sacrifices, in the pain. That is love.
So my other question is, if someone never knows what love is or how love feels, how can they know that they love somebody, or how can they express it if they don't know what it is? If they've never been through it. If I ask you, have you ever loved somebody? You'd be like, I don't know. What do you love? What is love? I don't know. So what is that, and where does it come from? If they don't know what love is, and don't know how to express love, don't know what the meaning is of love, what's going on? What do you say about it?
Um,
That's hard.
Well, it can be. It's very complex because love is gonna be. It's different. You know what I mean? That's why I say it's action, because the love you may have for a parent, or the love a parent has for a child, it's love because of the actions, because of the sacrifice, because of the things that you're doing. Those are just two examples out of many examples of what love is. But again, it's action. It's what you're doing for the person, what they're doing for you. It's very unselfish. It's selfless, and so that's not something you just sum up in one word. Joyful. I feel joyful. I feel happy. I'm smiling. I'm in a good mood. Those are words that are, love is so much more, it's intricate. It's so much more detailed. And like I said, it's always action.
It should be. It's supposed to be, but it don't always happen that way.
That's true. I mean, I could be a teacher, or I could be a counselor, and I could love the faculty or the children that I speak to. But it's what I'm doing. It's the sacrifice I'm doing. Oh, this little girl doesn't have a coat. Oh, this little boy doesn't have gloves. I'm going to go to the store out of my own personal money, and I'm going to provide gloves, and I'm going to provide hat, because that's an action. That is love.
But if you're asking somebody to express to you or tell you what love is and what it means to them, and have they ever been in that, or have they ever felt any kind of love, and they tell you that I don't know, then how can they know what love is? How can they express themselves if they're saying, if I'm asking you, have you ever loved someone, and you say you don't know? If I'm asking you what is love, and you say you don't know, then how are they going to express it, and how are they going to receive it if they're saying they don't know?
Well, so I'm gonna ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna ask, about parents. Are your parents alive? Are you with your parents? Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe they've never met their parent. Maybe they're adopted. Okay, your adopted parents. How do you feel about them? Why do you feel this way about them? Well, this would be considered love. Okay, you don't have that. You have an animal. You have a cat, or you have a dog, or you have a little sister, or you have a big brother. How do you feel about them? If somebody did something to them, would you defend them? These are examples, very minor, very smaller examples of love. That's action. That's how we'll get them to come out of, or to think about, how complicated and simplistic love can be at the same time.
But the thing too is, it also, this is what I say. You can be very defensive when it comes, people, not you, people can be very defensive when it comes to love. But is that really love? Or is it just the fact that you don't know any other way other than the word protection? And you were born and raised off of the word protection. You protect what's yours. You protect what's close to you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's love because you are protecting them. I'm going to protect you, and I may not love you, but I'm going to protect you. Because first of all, it used to be my job where I protected people if I needed to. And I didn't love you, but I protected you. So the difference between protection and love.
Love was in the mix though, because you loved what you do. So no, you didn't necessarily, because you didn't know these individuals that you were helping, but love was still in the mix because you were passionate and you love what it is that you do, care for people. So it's still in the mix. It's not, I know you, you know me, a relationship type of thing, but it's still love.
Because I often say too that, and it's a possibility, but sometimes it's just, you got to do it because you got to do it. It's not always about caring. It's about, you got to do it because you got to do it. You ain't trying to burn nobody's hair because you don't like them or nothing. You got to fix their hair. It's what you got to do. It's just what you got to do. So my thing is, if you got somebody that don't know and don't understand, did they come from what? I'm like you. What kind of background did they come from? Did they come from a not loving background? Did they come from an abusive background where they don't know how to express love and receive love? Here is what Robert said. Expressions of love comes in many forms. I always say, like Will Smith said in Hitch, that is a squishy feeling you get in your gut. And anger, get it out. Oh, Robert, see, that's what you always. Anger brings, you said anger gonna bring out the love. Yeah, you gonna get it back? Or you gonna bring it back? That's all I'm saying. You gonna bring it back. Like she said, what's love got to do with it? A whole lot. Love, what's love got to do with it? She's singing that song. What's love got to do with it?
Everything. Everything and nothing at all, right? It's so complex. It's not simplistic.
Never will be. It's how but I still say it's how some of us were raised. It's the way, if we were taught it, I was telling somebody earlier today, yes, anger can get love out. Yeah, that's a possibility. Anger can bring a lot of things out in you. But I don't know if anger gonna bring out love in you though, Robert. I don't know. Anger gonna bring out a lot of anger. I don't know if it's gonna bring out love in you, because you're gonna end up saying something you're gonna regret. Is that love? No, it's anger. But a lot of people just don't know. I was saying to somebody today, earlier on the phone when I was talking about this, is that if you've never seen it, if it was never around you, if it was never portrayed around you, if your family never showed it to you, how do you know if it's love? How do you know what love is if you never grew up? It's one thing to watch Andy Griffin and Aunt B and them all on TV, talking about some, having a one big old happy family and the Brady Bunch, all up under one roof, enjoying everybody. Is that love? Is that the definition of love? Looking at Archie Bunker, express the way he feel about people, period, married to what's her name. I mean, what's love? What is love? We don't see it no more on TV. But was that love that we was watching? Or was it showing us how to care for families? That's a good question right there. What? Good question right there. What is love? And what's love got to do with anything? Anything. And how can you bring it out?
So, we had so many global viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got a lot of silent people on here that are, they catch the show. They don't really want to say too much. But for those who would love to chime in, we would love to have you. We always love our viewers who can comment, whether it's a small comment, a big comment. We'd love to elaborate on what you feel. How do you feel? How do you show love, or what does love have to do with a lot of several things we do? Love is, like I said, it's an action word. It's tied to sacrifice. And so people don't sacrifice for things that they don't love. I mean, it makes no sense. It's one, you can't have one without the other. And so these different feelings and emotions that we have, I feel sick, or I feel tired, or I feel hungry, or I'm angry, or I'm sad, those are emotions, those are feelings. Love is not just a feeling, it's definitely an action. So, chime in with us, talk to us. What do you think? What's your opinion? What's your take? What do you think? What does love have to do with anything ever? Does it have to do with anything? Or does it have to do with everything?
It should. Love should have to do with a whole lot of stuff. I think everything we do, we should do it in love. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not perfect, because there are some things that I just don't do in love. I will not do it. I have refused to do it, and I'm still working on myself on that to do it. So let's not get it twisted now. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm perfect, because love ain't in a lot of things that I do. But I'm working on myself. I'm working on that part of me. But in the meantime, it's just like love has a lot to do with a lot of things. You don't hurt people that you love. You shouldn't. If you love somebody, you should not hurt the person that you love. And if you do love them enough that you feel like you're hurting them, let them go. Let them go. Let them walk away. You go, let them do what they want to do. You do what you want to do. Let them go. Don't keep them in a situation where you're going to consistently hurt them, but the words coming out your mouth, but I love you, babe. I love you. You just don't know how much I love you. No, I don't know how much you love me, because you're consistently doing the same stuff over and over again. And you shouldn't be doing that. Stop hurting me. Not particularly saying me, but stop hurting people that you say you love. Figure it out. Figure it out. And I said it earlier, communication, talking, working through it, if that's what you want to do, but you gotta want to do it. But if you don't want to do it, let them go. Let them go. Don't keep holding on to them. For what reason? Love, that's not what love does. That's not what love does. But that's an action, though. You keep holding on to them. Let them go. Don't keep holding on to them if you're going to keep hurting them. Let them go. What's up, Katrina Mills? Good seeing you tonight at the concert. Looking all spicy. Saw you back there, girl. I need some, mentioning spicy. I need some spices. I need some more of them spices. But we'll get together on that, Katrina.
And chime on in on what you think, what your thoughts are. What does love have to do with anything, Katrina? Whatever that may be, talk to us.
Everybody thinks differently when it comes to love, because everybody, that's something major. Some people don't know how to. Once again, if you don't know how to love, how can you receive it, and how can you let it out? Now that's $1 million and 2 questions. I just want to know, if you don't know how to love, how can you take in the love, and then how can you let it out? Because if you don't know what it is and you don't know how that works, then you ain't gonna be able to. How can you operate? How can you operate? What kind of person is that? I'm still, somebody need therapy.
It's definitely gonna be a challenge. I mean, if you don't equate some type of sacrifice, with love, whether it's you sacrificing for someone or someone sacrificing for you, that is love. And it doesn't always look good. It doesn't always feel good. People equate love with the hearts and, Valentine's Day and the balloons and gifts and stuff like that. It's so much deeper than that. It's on a whole nother level. In actions and all things. And Katrina said friendship is first and most important. True. Learn each other and love yourself first. Then share your love with someone who compliments you. Nice.
All day, every day. It don't get no better than that. And you're right. You got to start with the friendship piece first. You become friends before you become lovers, and lovers and friends all mix in together, which makes it all one big happy, beautiful, loving family. Y'all hear what I said? I said loving.
And the friendship will cause the love to continue to bloom, because you have to always go back to that place of friendship first. With friendships, there should always be a mutual respect. With that mutual respect, that's an action that's tied to love. And so, like I said, it all goes hand in hand.
Every day, all day. And y'all know what it is. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we do. It's that time of day. We coming to the end of this thing. But, we're going to tell you to love each other. And we're going to tell you to make sure that if you're responsible for something, take the responsibility. Please take responsibility for your actions. You can't take the responsibilities for nobody else's actions but yours. That's it. Everything else is null and void. You can't take responsibility for me or my girl Chanice. You got to take your own responsibility, because it's your actions that caused whatever it did, whatever took place and whatever happened. Just own up, fess up, own up, take it, receive it. But while you're doing all that, do it in the name of love. What? Do it in the name of love.
And so, yes, we came to the part of the show where we're going to give positive quotes. But before, I want to, Katrina said, yes, when you're friends, you tend to protect their heart naturally. Yes. We got a lot of stuff coming up here soon. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in, whether you made a comment or you just like to watch. We're so grateful. We got, like I said, we got viewers globally, and we thank you for tuning into Tuck Radio Wind Down Wednesday, every single Wednesday here at 6 p.m. You guys know how we do it. But we have a lot of things coming up. So always go to the Tuck Radio page so you can see what we got going on. We got something going on here in Cincinnati at Code 51 this Saturday. So that's going to be a really enjoyable time. Come out. Again, go to the website. We'll post flyers. We got so much stuff going on behind the scenes. But yeah, we're grateful for you guys.
Grateful, thankful. Thanks for watching, tuning in. There's a lot going on. It's for grown and sexy. Don't worry about the stampede, because we ain't trying to have nothing with a stampede, because all we deal with is grown and sexy people, grown and sexy. So make sure you pay attention and look out. We will be at Code 51 this Friday. You don't want to miss it, because I'm going to tell you, the boy is bad. He is bad. You need to come out and check him out. If you missed him, he was down in Nostalgia last month. You need to come on out, because I'm telling you, the boy is bad. This is something that, Cincinnati don't see much of, other people, from other places or whatever, and he's well known in other places. So we're trying to get him well known here in Ohio, Cincinnati, so we can bring him back again for something else. So make sure you watch and tune in, and I'm gonna have it on the Tuck Radio page, and of course it's on my personal page, and it's definitely on Chanice's and Jabron's page. And I want to say thank you to everybody that wished me well on my retirement. Smooches to all y'all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Claps, bling, 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 bling. I love it. I appreciate you. Life is good. God is good. It's all good. The road has been wonderful. Had some bumps along the way, but I survived. In the meantime, between time, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what we getting ready to do. We getting ready to turn up out of here. But before we do, we got to give you some positive quotes.
So my positive quote is, a great one. Let's see. Something real easy. Can't make it too complex for y'all. Live your love. That's what I'll say. Because love is an actual word, live your love. That's my positive quote.
Good one. And if you live in your love, you're loving the way you live. And I'm going to say positive in and positive out. But at the end of the day, it's always better to give than it is to receive. And we'll see you next time.
See you next week.